finally, I have my full review of the movie Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Not going to throw major spoilers out there because it is so part of the story that I don't want to actually ruin it for you. But let's get right into it, guys. Okay, let's go with the first part, and that is the story. This is a wildly entertaining story. This is um, entertainment at its finest. Truly going to be the action film of the year, the summer smash hit. Ethan Hunt and the regulars are back, Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames, along with Rebecca Ferguson. And yes, Kipling is back. If you remember him from Mission Impossible 1, which I have a theory about. We will talk about that later. Where we find our heroes at is MIF, is they are pursuing a brand new enemy that is AI, and they have to put together a two-parted key in order to shut it off. Now, getting those two parts of the key, that takes pretty much that part of the story is part 1. Now, of course, there's a lot that happens. But really, that is the ultimate, objective, as Ving Rhames says in Dead Reckoning Part 1, is getting the two parts of this key together. Now, they don't know what the key unlocks, where it's at until the very end of Part 1, as far as where to go to unlock this AI machine, at the center, the source. So, okay, that's the kind of like the linear storyline. Make sure you stick around for the review towards the end, because I'm going to give you my theory on all the films, how they're all involved in this movie, Part 1, and then I can kind of assume Part 2. Now, let's get to the stunts. Just like a John Wick 4, a more heightened, a more entertaining breadth of work in regards to practical stunts. And if you remember, Tom Cruise spoiled for us last year the jumping off the cliff scene off his motorcycle. Let me tell you guys something right now. It is not the most spectacular thing in this film. I'm serious. From multi, train compartments to to a fight on top of the train. It just keeps topping itself, and I think that's the biggest thing I can take away from this Part 1, and how it tops itself from the regular car chase, the regular calamity on a train. They do so many different things with it. Now, this is not a huge spoiler. It is up on YouTube in regards to the chase scenes in Rome. Cobblestones, a lot of practical stunt driving. And what they did is they had the two leads, Tom Cruise and in this case Haley Atwell, driving in a Fiat 500 that they tricked out the engine to go faster. But they're handcuffed together. So Tom Cruise had to drive with one hand through the cobblestones of Rome. And it was one of the there's so many highlights in this film. That was just a sensational scene. Because it also too had just the captivating charm and chemistry of Haley Atwell and them two, and humor. But Christopher McQuarrie just he doesn't know, he's got this brand down of Mission Impossible, kind of that Christopher Nolan feel, with a heightened, almost J.J. Abrams Mission Impossible 3 from Rogue Nation, Fallout, and now these two. McQuarrie just kills it. So yeah, the stunts, they keep you entertained from the beginning throughout this entire Part 1. Compartment after compartment, Haley Atwell and Tom Cruise have to overcome, and it's so relentless. You're almost exhausted by the time that train ride is done, but it's so worth it. From just a kitchen on fire compartment on the train that's moving, to having to defy gravity in one compartment. Just insanely entertaining. Now, this movie runs at 2 hours and 43 minutes, which is a long time for a part one. However, if anyone could keep you captivated, it's McQuarrie and Cruise, and they do it. Like I said, stunt situation after stunt situation, but also too the amazing cast. Rebecca Ferguson returns. Vanessa Kirby returns. Paul Clementif as Paris is here as well. And then, of course, Haley Atwell as Grace. Let's get to Palm first. She is a French assassin for Gabriel, who we haven't talked about in this video, played by Isai Morales. And Gabriel is the mysterious villain that's connected to the AI. And he is very disturbing. Great job. There is also, too, a couple of flashbacks of a de-aged Isai and Tom Cruise pre-MIF. Yes, they go back, way back, with these very brief and very well done flashbacks with the de-aging. That, I will say, is going to have some more ramifications in part two. But let's go back to Palm. Paris is the French assassin. She is loyal. She is vicious. She is relentless in her pursuit of trying to kill Ethan Hunt. There is an incredible skinny alley scene that I call it, where the fight choreography is so close contact that everything, every punch, every elbow is thrown, is believed, unlike other movies that I've seen recently. Palm Clementif sells it so well, but also, too, her vulnerability in that scene is pivotal to the rest of the movie. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it is very emotionally satisfying. Great addition to this cast. And of course, she's gorgeous. But let's get to one of the most captivating performances in this film, Haley Atwell. Haley Atwell plays Grace. Grace is a pickpocket orphan who is hired. She doesn't know by who. We figured out that it is Gabriel who hires her to pick the pocket of the person holding one part of the key. And that's how she enters into Ethan Hunt's world. She is not an assassin. She is not a killer. So really, this first part is not only her uh stealing that part of the key and Ethan trying to, like, keep her alive, but her being submerged into this spy thriller world. And we are there with her every scene. Every scene, it's almost like she can't believe what she just encountered. She can't believe she's part of this chase. She can't believe that she found the bravery to do something that Ethan demands her to do. And that's also, too, what I love about this film is that these characters, especially her character, lets herself be rescued by Ethan Hunt and then helps out Ethan Hunt as well, because Ethan Hunt is all about just protecting the lives of those that he cares, more so than anything, more so than himself. Absolutely incredible chemistry with Haley and Cruz. Those are really my favorite scenes, of so many favorite scenes. And also, too, great humor in a lot of the scenes that Haley and Cruz have. Not goofy humor, just very well timed, in the moment humor. And I cannot wait, actually, to see this again with her in mind. I just with the women in this movie, they just are just unforgettable. Talking about unforgettable, let's talk about the man, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, probably they call him the last movie star. I don't really agree. What I can say is he's been the most consistent movie star for decades. Like Top Gun Maverick, he does not disappoint the audience. He knows how to entertain you. He lets you know that not only does he do all the stunts, but it's not just about him. You're going to get a great story. You're going to get great characters, and yeah, you're going to great. You're and in for the Mission Impossible fans, you're gonna get some throwbacks and Easter eggs. Ethan Hunt and his character, it's a culmination, as Kittredge says, of all these movies, from the first one to being married, to saving his wife, to saving Isla Faust and getting her freedom, and then she comes back in. All these all these choices, as Kipling says, is going to come back to him. and not necessarily in a good way. And we really don't see that. We're just hinted at that in this part one. Part two, I imagine, is going to be the film's legacy. Just the films, all of them. This whole franchise is going to be wrapped up. I will say that because Kipling is back, there's so many other characters that could come back in part two that where it would make sense as far as who's really behind this AI. Is it the syndicate? Is it the apostles? All the way from part one, we're constantly left with villains and government people who weren't put out, but you just didn't see them again. Case example, where's Jimmy Renner's character? Angela Bassett's CIA head of CIA character. Where's Max from part one, Vanessa Redgrave? Could she be related to Vanessa Kirby's character as a high level arms dealer? Also to Lawrence Fishburne's character. In the language of all these films, it always talks about an unknown entity out there that is going to take over and eventually destroy civilizations on our world during this time, which I really see that then it's open to really any of these great characters coming back if it makes sense. And so far with Kipling's return, it's made a lot of sense. It is and then from what I've heard as well, in regards to part two, we're going to be even more entertained. So really, that's my review. I didn't want to give major plot points away. There are some that just you really have to see for yourself. I cannot wait to see this again. And finally, I want to say that yet again, Tom Cruise is going to save Hollywood with this film in a time of so many just forgettable franchises, forgettable movies, big budget movies that have come out and haven't delivered, and that look rather cheap because this movie cost 290 million, a far cry from the first film back in the day, which I believe cost less than 80 million to make. It shows on the screen. It shows on the screen from death-defying, like we said, stunts and settings and locations to the actors and to this cast. Well, I really hope you enjoyed my review. You can check out our Mission Impossible playlist that I have up. I also have spotlights on all the actors and a out of the theater review when I first saw this a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't give kind of more, spoiler review. You see my reaction, and I really came out of it just so incredibly entertained and asking myself these questions. Well, who else is involved? What else is going on? Sean Harris's character, he wasn't dead. Solomon, he could come back. I mean, the setup for part two is so there. Just insanely entertaining. So that is my review. Go check it out. And hit me back. Comment after you see the film. That is it. Wherever you're at, keep your slam fuerte. Thanks a lot for being here.